Hello, everyone. I am Angela, and I am the owner of Angela Wolf Video, and I'm here today on our second live stream for Video Tech Tuesdays. Now, just double checking that everything's running smooth because again, this is like my second time doing this. I want to make sure that I am coming up. Oh, I don't think so. Oh, here we go. Perfect. We're live. That is what we want. All right. So restart. I'm Angela from Angela Wolf Video. We do branded videos for corporations, small companies, and entrepreneurs. So today on our Video Tech Tuesday, we are talking about the basics of lighting. So lighting is complicated. On a film set, you have a whole department dedicated to it with lots of people and lots of really fun gear. So we're not going to go into a deep dive today, and we're not expecting anyone here to have thousands of dollars worth of lighting equipment. What we're looking at more specifically is going to be lighting that you can use during your video calls on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, or if you are doing any vlogs. I know right now, especially because of COVID, we can't meet our clients and our customers in person. So a lot of companies and brands are trying to do more videos, putting them out more often and doing things from home just so that they can still stay in contact and reach their audience, even if they can't, physically be there for meetings. So that's the type of, lighting we're going to talk about today. Now, if you have any questions, I'm going to try and keep an eye on the feed on Facebook, but we are also live on YouTube right now, which is exciting. I'll try to keep an eye on it. If anyone has any questions, just put it in the comments and I'll try to address those. If you're rewatching this, if you're not watching it live, awesome for rewatching it, thank you. Just do hashtag replay, and then that way I know that it's a question that I didn't answer in this video live, and I'll be sure to answer it next week in our next video. Cool. So the first thing that we have to talk about lighting, without getting too much into the weeds, is going to be about lighting temperature. Now I've got my fun little chart. Let me move out of the way. So this is my lighting chart, and it is, the temperature of light, which is the color of the light, is measured in Kelvin. And you can see that different sources of light have different colors, and our eyes are just naturally used to this. So you go from inside your house to outside, and there might be like, whoa, it's really bright, and then your eyes adjust and everything looks fine. For a camera, they can't do that. Camera's not quite as intelligent as our eyes. So what happens is it auto balances to one type of color, and then all the other colors look really stark in comparison, and it's going to be kind of distracting, or it's why sometimes you watch a video of yourself later and you're like, why is my skin tone so wrong? It's just, that's not what I look like. It's because you have too many different light sources and the camera's not sure how to white balance for it. So as you can see, kind of just like, again, really basics. We're looking at something like outside, your normal daylights, the light that comes in through your windows. If you're outside and you're filming, that's going to be very blue, and daylight's typically around that 5600 mark for Kelvin. Going down the scale in this really little middle zone is the green light, which no one ever wants. We do not want green light. It makes everyone look sick. Imagine you're watching a horror movie and you're in, the characters are in an old abandoned hospital, walking down, a long hallway, and the lights are flickering and there's that hum and the buzz and it's like creepy. Those are the, old school fluorescent lights hanging from the ceiling. That gives you that green, gross feeling. So if you're recording a video in your office space, and maybe the office building's a little bit older and it has those old school fluorescents hanging from the ceiling, you have to turn those off because they will make you look green. And even if it's just like a really small tint, green on your skin just always makes people look sick. So then going down the list, we're going to get to the yellows, which is tungsten. Tungsten is around 3200 Kelvin, and that is the type of lights that you think of as like a nightstand light or like a standing light at your house in your living room. Your typical lights. Those are really nice and like have that yellow orangey glow. They're really warm feeling. So if you are filming in a room where you have, your nightstand light on and you have light coming in through your window, that's when your computer or your camera is going to get confused. They're going to have, two different light sources with varying colors, and it's not sure which light to pick as the white light. And because of that, you're going to get funny kind of funny shades on you. And lastly, we're going to just kind of bump all the way back up to near the top, around 6500 Kelvin is what your computer screen looks like. I know we always talk about like the blue light effect that screens give off and why it really keeps us awake. And the reason is daylight is blue light to our eyes. And so having our screens emit that blue light, kind of tricks our body into thinking it's still, light out, even if we're doing this like late at night on our phones before we go to bed. So because of that, the computer screens are even bluer than typical daylight. So if your computer screens it's bumped up all the way for the brightness and you're sitting really close to it, you might be getting a lot of blue splash on your face from it, and that's why. So that's just another thing to kind of keep in mind. Now I want to just real quick show you the difference of kind of like what it looks like when you have two different light sources on at the same time. So right now I am using my windows as my natural light for this video. I have my overhead light turned off so that I only have one light source. Now I have this fun little LED light, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, but I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to set it to the tungsten, the yellow light. And so you can see that when I have just a regular yellow, light bulb light on me, while I also have the light coming in from outdoors, suddenly I look orange. This isn't my skin tone, and it's really, the brightness has nothing to do with this right now. But you kind of get like this really orangey tone, and you look kind of like you have fake tanner on right now. And that's because the computer has auto balanced for the blueness of the daylight, and therefore the yellowness of the tungsten light is going to just be hugely starkly different. So that is my quick and simple spiel about light temperature. Now we're saying, all right, so you're ready to make a video. You're going to make sure you only have one type of light on in the room. Either you're going to use all of your tungsten, all of your lights, like little daylights on, or you're going to put you're going to open up a window, let all the sunlight in. So what do you do and which one do you pick, and do you need to buy extra lights for this, is kind of like where we're going with it. So first is first, we are going to work with natural light. Yes, I've mentioned this a lot in my Instagram posts because I think it's the cheapest and it's the quickest and easiest thing to do if you don't want to spend any money and you have no idea how to use lights, is just to sit right in front of a window. Now the goal is you're going to want to sit very close to a window. Right now I am lit by, I have bay windows, so I have a window on my left and my right and in the center. And I have maybe a foot and a half away from them. And you can see my wall behind me is about 6 feet away and it's dark. So when you're using your windows as light, you need to be really close to them because the light's going to scatter, which we want it to do, but it's going to scatter and it's not going to fill up the whole room. So make sure you're very close to your window if you're using this technique. Another thing we want is if you have windows that are going to be getting a lot of direct sunlight, sometimes cloud cover will make the light kind of come in and out of the brightness and will confuse your camera. or also just any direct light is very harsh on your skin and never really looks quite right on camera. So you want to diffuse it. And the best way to do that, especially for something with windows, is to just get a really sheer white curtains. So I'm going to grab this. This is not white, but something that's white, and you can just see how sheer it is, and it's not really going to affect how much light's coming in, but it's going to help diffuse it and scatter it a little bit, and it's going to just give you that really like nice soft glow, that like model light, as one of my clients asked me to do once. They asked me to light them for an interview with model lighting. I said, what do you mean model lighting? And they said, you know, where you know, your skin glows and it's just soft. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes, diffused. So that's kind of how you get that model lighting look. Next, we are going to head over, or stay right here. We're going to head over and do an on-camera LED light. So the idea of it being called on camera just means that it's small, compact, and that it's designed to sit on top of a camera like a DSLR. So if you're doing vlogs, this is really good for that. Or if you are doing, you know, your video conference calls, you just get a little table-sized light stand. They're super little and cheap, and you just screw it onto the top. So that is actually what this is. This is an Aputure Amaran. My version is actually been discontinued, unfortunately, but Aputure has updated and gotten a nicer version actually out there, and it's the AL-F7. I suggest buying the kit as your first one, or, you know, even if you have like 3 of them, probably still buy the kit. It's $158 on B&H. The kit comes with a battery and a battery charger. Both of these things are going to be needed to make your light work. So definitely get the kit. The great thing about these are that it's LED lights, so they do not have heat coming off of them the way that tungsten lights get really hot. Like think of a light bulb in a lamp, and you touch it after it's been on for 5 minutes and you're like, ooh, ow, hot. So LEDs don't heat up, which is really nice because you don't want to be baking under any lights while you're, you know, giving your video speech. Another great thing about this is it has a dimmer switch, so you can, you know, adjust how bright the light is. And then the biggest thing about these LED lights that I think are really important, I really love this when I'm going on a shoot because I don't know what the space looks like yet. What's important about these are they have a light temperature control, and they will change the temperature of the light. You can adjust it yourself to match whatever the ambient light is in the room. As you saw earlier in this live cast, I have this on the tungsten. So this would be if I had lamps on all in the room and there were no windows. But I'm not in that kind of a room right now. I'm in a room full of windows, and that's what I want. So I can just adjust the lighting, the light temperature, and, you know, match it to look like the type of light that is in the rest of my house, or, you know, is lighting me right now. So, and then you can see it just kind of like adds in that extra like whoosh, you know, like fills in a little bit of the darkness that maybe might be missing from the window light. So these are really nice. Let me see if this will work. There you go. You can see how it has all these little LEDs, and by changing the light color, it switches on and off which LED colors are on. So these are really cool. I think, hey, as I was saying, you know, this is something that's wonderful. It comes with a shoe mount at the bottom, so you can mount it directly onto your DSLR, or again, it has a screw, so you can just screw it on top of a light stand, put it on your computer desk, and just put it right behind your computer. Now, the last light I wanted to talk about today is a ring light. This is super popular for vlogging, and it's not a device I actually own. So the reason I don't own this is because it doesn't make sense for a video shoot. The great thing about a ring light is they're made out of LEDs, so it's very similar to this, but it's going to be, looks like a giant donut. So we have the LEDs in a ring and then a hole in the middle. The idea is that you put your camera through the middle of this hole so that the light kind of like hits all sides of your face at once. So again, it's really great for vlogging, or even in this kind of a situation where I'm looking directly into the camera. There's only one of me, I'm not turning around, and there's, you don't have to light anything behind me. The disadvantage of using ring lights, and the reason I don't have them, is because if you have more than one person to light, it doesn't really work well. It's really designed to just be, front facing directly through the camera. Another thing is, if you're using it with a computer, that means you need to put the ring light, in front of your computer screen, which then can kind of obscure your sight if you need to see other people that you're Skyping with or you're doing your Zoom meeting with. So on B&H, they have them from like $90 to $200. Definitely want to buy a kit, so it comes with a light stand, which you definitely need because they're big, and then a way to plug them into the wall. And of course, same idea as the other light I just showed you. With LEDs, be sure you buy one that says it's a bi light. You'll see daylight balance means it will be blue. If you see tungsten, it means it's going to be yellow. And if it says it's bi, that means it's both. So super easy to remember. If you get a bi light, that means you're going to have that dimmer switch and the light temperature switch, and you can adjust it. So if you usually do your video calls from your kitchen table, and then there's one day you need to move up to the guest room, and surprise, the guest room doesn't have that beautiful light from the windows, and you need to use, your tungsten like lamps, then that way you can adjust the ring light to match the lamps that are in that room. So that's kind of like my warning about that, is you definitely, if you want to go with the ring light, you're definitely going to want a bi-colored ring light. So those are the 3 different types of lights I wanted to talk about today, and we talked about light temperatures. So what I do with Angela Wolf Video is we create branded videos for corporations, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. And if you're thinking about making a branded video for your company or your brand, number one thing to do first is go to bit.ly/AWV checklist. It's a free checklist I put together about all the questions you need to ask yourself before you start a video project. So this is for that moment where you say, you know what, I think I really need to have branded videos, but I don't know where to start. This is where you want to start. So it's going to ask you about what the project is, the purpose, the calls of action, where you're going to be putting it, how often you're going to be making these videos. It's just like a really beautiful jumping off point for your pre-production to figure out how big of a production it's going to be, if it's something you can do it in-house or if you're going to need to hire out. And then also just to start on the scripts and the content and the ideas for it. So definitely check that out. And on this video, comment and let me know, what do you want to see next? What are your questions about video and tech and how to put this all together? Just comment on the video and I will be ready to go for next week on Tuesday at 1 o'clock again. So thank you everyone so much, and I look forward to another live stream next week. We're going to get this down. All right, thank you.